What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka The Laptop Legend. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. It's been a while since I made a video because I was traveling to Missouri for that, and it's just been honestly a pretty gross market. No amazing runners that I really want to tell you guys about. So I've just been mainly shorting stuff, and that's not too exciting for most people. So I didn't really have too much to talk about, but there are a few concepts that I want to talk about in this video that I think are very important in terms of protecting your account and making sure that, if you've made money over the last year, that you don't lose it all in the next couple of months. And, I think also if you haven't made any money, but you've been kind of break even or lost a little, you really want to be careful so you don't lose all of that money that you do have. So I just want to, I guess make a word of caution in this video, just because potentially things could get a lot uglier than they are right now. A lot of people feel like we're at quote unquote max pain, and we are definitely not. So I just want to give this video as a warning message to you guys. Now, I don't want to be what is it, Chicken Little, say the sky is falling. Maybe we could have a great rebound, especially in OTC markets, because they're already pretty beaten down, but you just never know, and you want to prepare for worst case scenario always, in my opinion. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about that, what I've been doing, what you guys can do to prepare, what you can do to even profit off of a huge decline in the market, even if you are in a cash account and you cannot short. So hopefully you guys will find this video helpful, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this intro. So I'm gonna dive into my laptop. All right guys, so I'm here on my laptop, and I do wanna give a brief shout out to IGEN. This stock was really annoying, and I wanna explain why. So it got some government contracts. The news came out, I think, yeah, right here you can see they secured multiple. Well, you can't, I guess, see the whole thing, but they came out, at 6 a.m. or something like that, and basically said they secured multiple government contracts from both, state and federal level. And anytime you get a penny stock that gets federal government contracts, it's usually a pretty good catalyst, especially if you look at the daily chart and just see how absolutely beaten down this thing was. And I mean, we just got some massive volume off of that, and I figured this thing was gonna run before it even ran, and as soon as I saw that news, so I bought some. I couldn't fill here. I ended up filling it I think 4.2 or 4.3, something like that, into this spike, and then it kind of spiked, and then it failed, came down. I still held, came up again, made a lower high and a lower low, and I ended up dumping all my shares right here at 4. And I stopped watching it, pretty much because it looked like it was just going to go red on the day. And we've seen so many stocks that have good news. They spike up a little bit, they go red, and then they sell off like a ridiculous amount. So I'm very wary of that, especially in this overall OTC climate, because if you hold onto something that has news that goes red, it may take months or years to come back. So I just, I cut it there, and then I watched this thing run, it was up, I think, over 200% at one point, or close to 200% from where I sold. Like I sold literally 4, and it ran, I guess, I don't know what, like 150% from where I sold. So just very frustrating. And that's just kind of the story of this market. I think NUVM, this was actually one good example of news I did nail. I want to pull up the 5-day 1-minute chart so you guys can see. It's a good example of stocks that sell off. So they put out some type of SEC form saying that they were going to be merging, or I guess acquiring, some restaurant that would be 40xing the company's revenue, because it's a successful long-term restaurant that has millions in revenue each year. Obviously, most OTC companies don't have that. This one included. And so I read that. And I told everyone in the Discord about it, and a lot of us got in pretty damn early on this thing. I mean, I literally bought this in the 2.7s. I ended up buying 40,000 shares there because it was not moving at all. You can see there's no volume at first. That's me buying right there. And then it starts spiking up. I only get another 20,000 share ad at 3.3 or something like that. And I still at all at 4.7. So I pretty much top ticked this thing. But you can see after that, it comes back down, it bounces. I did buy the dip and sell there. But then it fails. It goes under 2.7, which is where the news originally came off, and this thing dumps all the way down almost to 2 from 2. So it dumped another 20 or something percent under where the news came out, which is good news. So it just feels like it's it's a pattern in this thing. It dumped even lower the next day, ended up coming back, maybe when they did the PR or something like that. But it's just it's very frustrating to see so many charts like this where you get good news, it might spike a little bit and then ends up dumping below where the news came out, and it gets really ugly. So I'm just trying to protect myself from that. And if you guys see that happen, like news comes out, it spikes, and then it ends up going red, for me, it's just not worth holding it, because you never know how far this stuff can dump when it starts panicking. And you don't want to assume it can't go lower. It's better to cut for, you know, a break even or a small loss here than be cutting for a massive loss at like 150 or something like that. So just keep that in mind, guys, and really protect yourselves here. So another stock I want to talk about is Baba, man, because this thing has just gotten destroyed. I mean, I don't know any other word for it. This thing has just gotten absolutely wrecked. Like if you go back here, I forget when the IPO was. Pretty somewhat recently. What was it? Right here. If I go 10 years, does it give me any more? I guess this was the IPO right here. So you can see, I mean, it ran up pretty nicely after the IPO. Got as high as like what? Like 320s. And it has just collapsed, man. And they're talking about delisting this and some other Chinese stocks. So it could get really, really ugly for these things, guys. It could get really ugly. And if you're just buying the dip, you know, I knew people who were buying the dip at the 200s thinking it has to bounce, you know, buying at 170s off of this support. Like it's just cracking all these supports, man. They're all gone. So at this point, I mean, we really don't have much left. Like this could be under 100. Now, it is a big dump, so maybe it gives some bounce days before it failed. Probably nothing goes straight down, but I guess maybe if it gets delisted, it goes straight down. So this is just another example, guys. You know, you got to be really, really careful and protecting this market. Now, if you are able to short, this was pretty much the easiest short in the history of shorts, man. I mean, this thing literally, if you shorted this at open, I mean, this thing dumped, you get a 117.5 fill. This thing was down in the 109s, you know. I mean, you could pretty easily cover 111 here. I mean, that's a nice gain. You know, that's $6 a share. You know, you get 1,000 shares or 500 shares or even 100 shares, man. It adds up. So look to take advantage of this weakness in the overall market. If you have a margin account, by shorting. And if you've never shorted before, now's a really good time to start learning, because these things are dumping and it's getting ugly. Now, if I go to SPY, this is the crazy thing, guys. This is the crazy thing. So this is, you know, the S&P 500 ETF. And you can see that in the grand scheme of things, let me pull up a 2-year chart just so you guys can see a little better. That was the March 2020 crash. Here's where we are now. So we're like, I'm pretty sure it's like 4% off of highs, all-time highs ever. This thing really has not cracked any support levels yet, and we have a lot of stocks that are down a lot more. So I think the RUT, I believe that is the ticker. I guess it might not pull it up here. I'm almost positive that's a ticker. It's an ETF. I guess it's not pulling it up here, but I'm pretty sure, you know, all these like the low caps, I guess the small caps, they are, I think they're on average down 20% from their highs. So there's kind of I don't even know, like a miscommunication there between, you know, between SPY and the actual market sentiment. Like most of these smaller cap stocks that we trade typically are just getting absolutely wrecked. And I mean, if this thing cracks, I would say these uptrend lines on the bottom, like the other ones, it could get pretty ugly. Obviously, you know, there's some decent support here in the 425, 430 area. But if that breaks, man, it could see a nice pullback. And I think that would be a good thing for the markets. But if you're not prepared, you could lose a lot of your gains. You could lose a lot of your gains, guys. So I just want to say, you know, protect. Don't put yourself in the position where you're averaging down, you're increasing size, you're using margin, God forbid, to buy this thing thinking that it can't dip any lower, because it can. It can dip a lot lower. Especially, you know, with all the quantitative easing stuff that's going on and interest rates. There's just a lot of different factors, and they're trying to blame it on the Omicron variant. I personally don't think that's a huge factor. I think it comes down more to the other stuff. But this is a chart where it could fall off a bridge pretty easily. So I just want to see you guys be careful out there. And if you just have a cash account and you can't short stuff, you're thinking, David, how the hell am I going to make money if everything starts crashing if I can't short stuff? Well, there are ETFs that are reverse of SPY, and they're leveraged. So I want to pull this up. I have it saved. TZA. This is a 3X small cap bear. So it's not, you know, exactly correlated to SPY, but pretty much, you know, if the entire market crashes big, this thing will spike 3x that amount. So you can see here, you know, the entire market, SPY, I don't know how much percentage-wise it crashed here. I guess that's a pretty big pullback, honestly. What is that, like a 40% pullback? I'm not sure if this has the line tool where you can draw. I know if this were Thinkorswim, I would be able to calculate the percentage by that. But that's a pretty big pullback, you know, 30, 40%, call it whatever it is. But if you go here in March, this thing ran from, you know, 260s and it ran as high as 950. That's pretty impressive, man. So this thing had almost a 4x run, almost a 300% increase in a month. So, you know, if you're in a cash only account and the whole market starts crashing, if you long something like this, it could really get going. It could really get going. Now, it did have a, you know, I guess a recovery here, so it kind of sucks to buy something like this when it's already, you know, already up $10 a share from those lows there. And I don't know if they just keep reverse splitting this, because if I zoom out, guys, I mean, this thing goes all the way up to like a million, which is pretty insane. But if you think about it, you know, the overall market over the last 20 years has just gone up and up and up and up and up. So if you're doing the reverse of that 3x, it gets pretty ugly. So I think that's part of why this thing looks so gross here. But the main point is, this is not something you hold long term, because long term, you know, over 100 years or whatever, we expect the market to keep going up. But if there is an ugly correction that is starting and you cannot short anything, this is honestly a pretty decent option in terms of being able to capitalize on that. So this is something you guys should look into for sure if you don't have the ability to short specific stocks, not socks. We don't short socks out here unless they're Hanes. I don't like Hanes socks. I like the left-right socks of Nike Pro. That's the move. Or, oh, what is it? Bumba? No. I forget what it is. There's some other brand that's pretty good. So yeah, guys, I mean, that's pretty much it. I just want to say protect. Pretty much all the OTC charts are just so ugly right now. I mean, it's insane. Oh, I don't want to go 20 years on that. Jeez, let's go 1 year. You know, they're all really ugly. Like, they're down a ridiculous amount from these highs, and it could go lower. You know, it could drop another 70% from here. I wouldn't be surprised. FCGD. I mean, this thing is ugly, guys. You know, I was up over 100%, I think close to 200% up here, several $1,000s on a pretty small position, dollar-wise, and then, you know, it just faded all the way back down. Could this go lower? Absolutely. And when you're this cheap, if it drops down here, that's more than a 50% drop. So it's crazy, guys. It's crazy, and it could get ugly. So you don't want to keep averaging down, in my personal opinion. Now, are these nice dips? Could we see a nice rebound? Yeah. But you just got to manage your positions. I think the most important thing for me is making sure that you always have enough money to keep day trading with. And, you know, I'm sure probably not many people are going to make it this far in the video because I'm kind of rambling on here, ranting about, you know, bear markets and stuff like that. But just be careful, guys. You know, I am personally down in my swings right now. I mean, I haven't even loaded it up. E-Trade wasn't updating, but I'm assuming it's probably close to like 6 figures. And a couple months ago, I was down nothing. And that's all because of bag holding. And I'm sort of okay with that, but not really. You know, I wish I had cut those now looking back on it. Because if you buy something that's highly leveraged and highly correlated with the rest of the OTC market, if everything starts dumping, you know, you could lose most of your portfolio, which is not something I want to see happen. And I think there's some of you guys out there who, because I'm holding those, you feel like it's okay to bag hold as well. And the only reason I'm doing that is because, number one, it's my Roth IRA. I cannot touch this money for a long time anyway, but that's not really a great excuse. The only other reason I'm doing this is because I have enough other money outside of that account that I can keep day trading and keep making money every day no matter what happens to those swings. And there's a lot of you guys who are in the position where you have money tied up and you literally don't have enough money to day trade, or those bags are bringing you under the PDT rule, so you can't even short. You can't even have a margin account because you'd be limited to those 3 day trades. So really consider, you know, if you want to keep holding these bags, guys. Obviously, it sucks to cut something near the lows and then have it bounce, but just play all scenarios out. You know, if this dumps down another 50%, what is that going to do to you? And there's a lot of these stocks that could keep dumping. I'm still holding I still have 900,000 shares. I mean, it's ugly. I'm down, I don't know, like 10 grand on it or something like that. Maybe not quite that much, but it's ugly, man. You know, this is not ideal. You know, this chart looked pretty nice when it was in this area starting to come back up. But it just broke down. So that's the reality of it. And I just want you guys to stay safe out there and make sure that you're leaving money, leaving cash reserves for, you know, for shorting, for buying dips. If the whole market crashes 20, 30%, that would be, you know, a better place to be going long versus when the entire market is only down 4% from its all-time highs. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just want to make sure you stay careful out there. And yeah, I will see you in the Discord. If you made it to the end, just know that I'm probably cycling the Discord roles. So if you cannot log back in, make sure that you go log into your Patreon and disconnect your Discord and reconnect it. And it should automatically give you the role, which will allow you to access Discord again. So now that has been said, I will see you guys tomorrow in the Discord. I've been studying a ton, so definitely got some new stuff to talk about, and that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, let's grow better together. Bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.